Hey guys, how are you? It's a pre-game show. We're here for what day is it? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. In the NBA, as we're ready to look at the 5 games that are on. We're going to talk about those games. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to look at injury updates that come through. We're going to play dribble game. We're going to do all of that great stuff that we can do here. Just looking at news that's come through now. Kevin Love is in apparently today. Let's do dribble game. Then we'll come back for some injury update news for today's action. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here. If you hit thumbs up while you're here, that's a great start to things. Let's bring the dribble game screen across. Last one was tough. I got it in 2, but it was tough. Mikal Bridges, Wendell Carter Jr. Who plays in Orlando or Phoenix or Chicago? Campaign. Well, it's got to write Cameron, sorry. Cameron. Bang. That was easy. Good. Let's bring the lineups page back across and we can see what we do have confirmed so far. Just the Cavs. Garland, Mitchell, Okoro, Mobley, and Allen. LeBron is playing. Davis is likely back. The only big real injury we're still waiting on today is Jamal Murray, who's questionable, but let's go through what we know. Kevin Love is probable. Jimmy Butler is playing. Gabe Vincent's in. Davis is probable. LeBron is in. Beverly is out, interestingly. Derek Jones is playing. Robert Covington's back. Paul George is back. Kawhi is back. Reggie Jackson is back. Marcus Morris is out. Cody Martin is out. Shocker. Giannis is in. He was listed probable. Marjon Beauchamp is in. And then you've got Jamal Murray out and Ingram and... Jamal Murray questionable, not out. And Ingram and McCollum are back. Jalen Green just announced out for Wednesday. No update on Şengün yet, but that's Green and Porter both out, so that really helps KJ Martin a lot, helps Eric Gordon. Don't think it impacts Tari Eason that much, to be honest. Again, they don't play Eason at the 3 really ever. I'd like them to. They generally don't. Şengün's off the injury report, so he's going to be in. There you go. So we've got that update. Şengün is off the injury report, so he'll be back tomorrow. What they do with Eason's really interesting. It's 3 games in 4 nights, though, so Eason is worth grabbing for the people asking that question. But I do worry a little bit about that role. Kenneth says, a Okongwu stash? For what purpose? Talked about it on the show earlier today about the What to Watch For show that's just airing now. Like, what would you be stashing for? The only reason is in injury, and that can be a really tough thing to stash for. But I get it. Like, it's not a bad decision, but because he's producing back-end, like close to back-end 12-team value as it is. Can you drop Cam Johnson or Trey Jones for streaming? You can do whatever you want, Aziel. But like you look at these, what do they average versus what are the waiver wire guys? If it's 2 to 3 points difference, then yes, it's an easy decision to drop. If they're averaging 9 points more than a waiver wire play, then it's probably not the right thing to do. Okay, what are my expectations for Halliburton on Thursday? Minutes restriction? Soft minutes restriction, I would guess. Playing the back-to-back? Not likely. I wouldn't think he would. Likely playing on Thursday. It seems like he's going to play Thursday and sit Friday is my guess. Angelo, welcome to the pregame show for the first time. Hey, Josh, what is the weekly recommended acquisition limit? It's whatever you want, really. Honestly, it doesn't actually matter. Look, the standard one is 4. Honestly, you can't change it now, though. Don't change anything, but no. Isn't LeBron still questionable? No, LeBron is in. Do I think KJ Martin is still valuable without a Gordon trade? Well, they would need to make a decision to play KJ more minutes. Because in the games where they were healthy, he'd played 21 minutes a night. And Martin has stepped up in games that Gordon's been out, and he stepped up in games that Porter's been out. And when they've been healthy, he plays 21 minutes a night and not useful enough, or 22 minutes a night. So unless they made a decision to bench Gordon and keep Martin starting, then no, he's not even that high of like a permanent value player, KJ. It's just that the injuries are there. There's the chance of a Gordon trade. That's what makes him useful at this point. Eason or Sims this week? Well, Yancey, what I do know is that Sims is probably going to play 30 minutes a night, whereas Eason might play 20 minutes a night, and that's a really big difference. Again, I would love it to be the case. I would love to see Eason play at the 3. We just haven't seen it, and I'm going to try and look it up as we talk now to figure out like how many minutes he's actually played next to, let's see, so Tari Eason. Let's look at his minutes for the season. Tari Eason has played 885 minutes this season. That can't be right. Those numbers aren't right. 885 minutes this season, Tari Eason. Is that right? I'm just going to double check that as I'm trying to figure out some stuff here before we give you that information, because I think this is important to note. Like, again, things can change, and they should change, but if we're going to base it on what's actually happened, he's played 968 minutes, Tari. So that number is wrong. Okay. We'll figure that out. We'll get that sorted. Anyway. Tari Eason minutes. So let's say it's 900. Next to Jabari Smith. 100 minutes next to Jabari Smith. So that's 1/8, basically 1/9, 11% of his minutes next to Jabari Smith. Next to Smith and Şengün, he has played... what's the guess of how many minutes Eason's played next to Smith and Şengün? Guys in the chat, what's your guess of how many minutes he's played next to Smith and Şengün? I'd love to hear what your guess is. I am quite surprised. Come on, chat. Give me an answer. Capella can be traded, Turk. Capella won't be traded, but he can be traded. 0 minutes, 4 minutes, 50 minutes. The answer is 13 minutes. Eason's played next to Smith and Şengün 13 minutes this season. They never play him as a small forward. Maybe you could say they play him as a small forward on the bench, but you need him to play next to the starting power forward and center to give value, and it has not happened. Like, at all. 13 minutes is nothing. It's garbage. So that's the risk with Eason, is if Şengün and Smith play these 3 games in 4 nights, he plays 19 minutes a night as a backup behind Smith, and that's it. And that's not that great. But the 3 games in 4 nights gives him a boost. So you do add him for these 3 games in 4 nights. Yep, Capella can be traded. Stash Okongwu for Capella. This is just not happening. It's Capella. Look, I just don't think it's happening. Eric Kinter says, Isaiah Jackson got moved into the backup center spot behind Turner in their depth chart. Any thoughts on that? It sounds fake. What do you mean, their depth chart? Where are you seeing... Eric, I'm not questioning, but where did you see this? Because there is no depth chart that I go look at for information. They're not real. I'm really curious as to what you're talking about here, as to where this happened. And then I can talk about the validity of it. Brody says, I'm hearing Devin Booker could return by end of the week. I'm hearing that too. I heard that maybe weekend started next week is a potential for Booker. I think he's getting reevaluated like Thursday. So I have heard that as well, yes. Do I think Avdia keeps this up? I've spoken about this quite a lot. No, I don't. And I'll tell you why I don't think Avdia keeps it up. Oh, but Rui's gone. Not that anyone's saying that, but people are saying that. It's not about Rui being gone necessarily. Yes, it pushes him from 24 to 30 minutes easily, right? We get that part of it. But Denny Avdia has played 30 minutes lots of times this season, and he hasn't been a good 12-team league player. What's happened over the last 6 games? Well, he's shooting 52% from the field and 38% from 3, whereas for the season, he's a 29% shooter from 3 and shooting 44% from the field. So is the absence of Rui enabling him to shoot 8 percentage points better from the field? I highly doubt that. Is the absence of Rui enabling him to double his steal rate? I highly doubt that as well. Is the absence of Rui making him a better 3-point shooter? I doubt that. So, yes, he should be rostered, but what has happened over this it's one of those coincidental things where something happens, Rui's traded, and at the exact same time, Denny becomes a 10% better shooter, doubles his steal rate, and gives 2 extra rebounds per game, and you go, well, the overall production per goal, Rui's gone, but Rui doesn't impact him being a almost 10% better shooter. It's not what he does. Does Rui being gone mean he doubles his steal numbers? No, not really. So while I do think Denny is a solid enough back-end player, it's not likely to stick at the current level that it's at. ESPN, CBS, Josh. That's okay. So that's the Isaiah Jackson thing. So that's garbage, Eric. Like, it's garbage. They're not real. It's nothing official. It's them taking a guess at things. And because Jackson has been the backup center the majority of games the recent time, but that means nothing. The teams don't put out official depth charts. It's not like the NFL where they do release official depth charts. The NBA does not do that. And the ESPN updating it doesn't mean a single thing. All right, it's nothing. So there you go. Is Killian Hayes still a hold? Yes, because we've got the trade deadline coming up. But if Burks isn't moved, I would consider him a drop because whatever they're doing here, it doesn't make a lot of sense that you move on. Is Gafford a must even with Kristaps back? Yes, I think so. Because I think they're going to start together. And Gafford gets, in points leagues, maybe not as much. In a category league, all Gafford needs is 24. And he gets helped by the absence of Rui as well. And again, the people ask the question, why is that the case? Rui plays the 3 and the 4. Is that it means that those 25 minutes that Rui was getting at the 3 and the 4 means that they can be filled more by Porzingis, more by Kuzma, more by Avdia. Meaning that Gafford plays more at center. To force those 25 minutes for Hachimura into the lineup, it means that Porzingis could play fewer minutes at the 4, meaning more minutes at the 5, meaning fewer minutes for Gafford. And what you do there is either give more minutes to Gafford or you play Anthony Gill or Taj Gibson. And I know which one you want to go with, right? So you give 4 to 5 extra to Rui Hachimura. You give 4 to 5 extra to Dan Gafford. You give 3 or 4 extra to Corey Kispert. You don't give it to Taj or to Gill or to Isaiah Todd. So that's how that works. Is it a good idea to trade Jokic because of Denver's playoff schedule? In a lot of leagues, Denver's playoff schedule is really bad, right? There's a 2-game week in there as well, and so you've got to really be cautious of that. It's very hard to suggest trading away Jokic, but a 2-game week can be a killer. I'd be really hesitant to do it. What are you getting back? Like, who are you getting back? Like, if you're trading for Luka, sure. You're trading for, like, the other top guys are like Embiid and Durant's out. Embiid's dealing with a foot problem. There's Shea up there, but, like, can he keep this up? And then what are you doing? Trading for Giannis and his weirdness? Trading for Steph, who I'm quite worried about minutes-wise? Like, I get it. I do think that you have to at least explore it, but who you get back, I've got no idea that makes any sense there. Bones has unfollowed Denver Nuggets on social media, removed it from his bio, should have stashed for a trade. I hate this shit. No offense to you, Aaron, but it just gets reported on so much. Man, he's taken it out of the bio. How many times have we heard this story from players over the years, and how many times has it actually meant anything? I would say it's probably batting 1 out of 1,000. That's the regularity that this happens. Yes, Bones' name has been brought up in a trade. Maybe he is getting traded. But A, where's he getting traded where he plays 26 minutes a night? And where's he getting traded where he's rolling with a 30 usage, which he is in Denver? Like, his usage is sky high in Denver. He's not playing big minutes. Where is the reality? I just don't. Stashing for trades based on social media bios, it's going to lose you. Like, it's not going to be a winning proposition, I don't think. Any chance I would drop Ben Simmons to add the Bronco in a 12-team points league? Currently, 5th chances are high to make playoffs, or drop Keegan Murray for Mark Williams with the Bronco. Hard to know without looking at your points, your points setup. I drop Simmons for Jalen Williams. I think I'd consider it. Look, again, if Simmons is your worst player, then he's droppable, and he's currently hurt as well. So if you wanted to move on, I get it. Keegan Murray for Mark Williams. Look, Mark Williams is a better category league player. So his value is not as high as in a stash in a points league. I don't think I would drop Keegan for Mark. I would consider Ben Simmons, yes. Kennard stream for the week? Yeah, but actually, no. I'm not. No, not really. Not really. Mark Williams is a good stream. That's why he was the cover photo for the streaming show for today. So, yes, he's a really good stream. What teams have a sick playoff schedule? SG just dropped a whole video on that, and you can't ask that question. I'll tell you why you can't ask it, because no one knows when your playoffs are. So who knows? Go and have a look at the video that I dropped where I went through 4 distinct different playoff schedules to highlight the winners and losers. It was out like about 10 hours ago. I think Highland ends up on the Raps. I'd stash him. All right, cool. It's a losing proposition. Again, you remember the one that you hit, and then every other stash that you do, you forget about. It's generally a losing proposition. From your experience, do players typically rest for the All-Star break if they're participating? No. What is the game of the day? Okay, don't know. Let's have a look. Bring up the games. What is the game of the day? Miami-Cleveland, I think, is pretty interesting. Yeah, it's Miami-Cleveland, I think. And that's not that exciting. I think it's Miami-Cleveland. Would I trade PG for Durant if I'm in safe playoff position? Yes, I would. Ten-team, 9-cat roto league. Thoughts on trading Giannis and Kawhi for Adebayo and Steph? My league ends 2nd of April. Thank you for your answer. Well, in a roto league, I don't know how you can deal with Giannis. So I think you got to move on from him. So yes, I would do that. Just to get rid of Giannis off a roto league roster. Anthony Davis is listed active, so he should be playing. We did get the Heat, or no target date for John Wall return. We did get the Heat starting lineup. It's the same as always. Lowry, Hero, Butler, Martin, Adebayo, so that's there. But Anthony Davis is listed active, so his status is probable, but he should be playing. So the only thing we're waiting on now, injury-wise, is Jamal Murray, questionable. And unfortunately, that's a late game, and we're probably not going to get that come through anytime soon. Who have I got, Eagles or Chiefs? I've got Chiefs. Alex Gaz. Would it be too much of a risk to trade Keldon for Chris Middleton in a 12-team points league? Worried about Keldon long-term rest of the season. Why are you worried about Keldon and not Chris? But in saying that, I've got no problem with acquiring Chris. It's just too high of a price when there's too much risk involved, I think. And if Keldon does play through the rest of the season, which I do think he is at risk with, he's had injuries this season and the Spurs are just dreadful. I think there's a risk that he doesn't play. But if he does, I think he smashes Middleton in a points league. I would like to get Middleton for a much cheaper price. What do you do with Josh Hart? No one wants to trade and you can't drop him for a borderline player. Then there's literally only one other option then, and that's hold on to him. But I would consider dropping him. Are we looking at a potential Trevor and Queen stash for the rest of the year? No. I don't know. What role can Russell Westbrook play on a championship contending team? He can be on their opponents. That's how he helps a contending team. We're still going? Yeah, still got time here. What other questions have we got in here? Just looking if there's any more statuses or injury news or things coming through. Not yet. All right. Back to you guys in the chat. I've done the Buy Low, Sell High show earlier today. There's a What to Watch For show and a streaming show for Wednesday's action, plus that playoff schedule show that's all come out in the last 12 hours or so. On that question of Bones, Jason Dumas for Bleacher Report says on Twitter, Bones will represent the Nuggets at the Rising Stars and it will likely be the last event he represents the org. Okay, well, a couple of things there. Jason Dumas, I've seen his name around. He's not a reporter that I trust because I've just never seen anything really come from him. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but that's fine. That's bullshit, Aaron, because the Rising Stars Challenge is 2 weeks after the trade deadline. So what are they suggesting happens? That he doesn't get traded, he plays representing the Nuggets at the All-Star game, and then sits out the rest of the season? Something doesn't add up there at all. Like that's just not going to happen. If he's traded, he'll be traded to another team and he won't represent the Nuggets at the All-Star break. Or if he's not traded, he will play through the rest of the season. Like that's a ridiculous. If that's what Jason Dumas says, then that's completely inaccurate. I'm going to look that up because that sounds absolutely stupid. That's ridiculous. Can you link me that? I don't know if it'll come up on the link. Oh, here we go. Let's read this article. Bones Hyland will represent the Nuggets in the NBA's Jordan Rising Star Challenge. It will likely be the last event he represents the organization. As I'm told, the Nuggets are looking to move Hyland for a veteran. Again, it's ridiculous. That just is not a thing. How is it? I know I'm getting hung up on this, but that's annoying. It doesn't make any sense to me. And this is, I've never seen rumors from this guy come through. Can someone explain that to me? Am I just like, have I lost my mind? 50% chance over under Jakob gets traded. Always under. Always under. My league is unhappy with the trade of Booker for Drew Holiday. Tell him to eat shit. Like, who cares? What's wrong with that trade? How confident am I of Zion being impactful once he comes back? 100% confident. How many more games are you giving Isaac? I gave him 0 games. He's not someone I said to add. So I think you're asking the wrong person, Dan, because I wouldn't have added him. So how many games did I give him? -4. I wouldn't have bothered with him. Again, his value is to a team that is sitting in first or second. That doesn't matter that they've got a 0 on their roster. I don't even think he actually reaches anything better than like your 12th best player on a fantasy roster this season. Maybe 11th he gets to, maybe. But we're talking like an 18-team league guy at the moment, probably for the next 3 weeks at least. Am I going to go for the Tiffany Air Force Ones? Yes, I will. I'm sure I won't get them, but I will go for them. My brain is actually broken from that thing. Here we go. Last event, I guess, not game. Not that he'll likely be in any more events moving forward, but I guess suggesting, yeah, it's just so weird. Like last event, what does it even mean? It's such a weird thing. Anyway, why do you think the Mavs signed a 10-day contract? Because they can. They don't seem to be that short-handed. Well, they've got Wood out, Kleber out, and they had an open roster spot, and Wood and Kleber are both centers, so they signed Chris Silver, I believe, who's a big man. Just gives them depth in case there's a game where Powell gets hurt, and JaVale's useless. Do I think Markkanen is a better player than Sabonis? I actually don't know what I think about that. I'd say, I actually don't know. Who do I think is a better player? I'd rather Markkanen as a player on my roster for long-term NBA value because he's younger. So I think Sabonis. I think Markkanen is probably better player. He's got more positional value, and the defensive concerns aren't as big of a deal. So that's where we go. The Tiffany's are 400. Yeah, but I'm still not going to be able to get them. I haven't even looked at any listings of them yet, so I've got to look at that. What are my thoughts on NBA refs rigging games? I think it's garbage, and I think it's high-level conspiracy nonsense. I know Tim Donaghy existed, right? I don't think it's a thing. Tim Donaghy? Yes, it was. I don't think there's any relevance or any viability in that sort of a comment. Will Cat be back? Yes. I don't know when. Yes. This is the first time we've had LeBron as a sell high. I can't tell you forever, but for this season, yes. Is there still value on Tom Bryant? No. When Davis plays, there's not. There's not. No. Better defender, Herb or Denny? I think it's Herb, but Denny's a very good defender. And Denny is obviously bigger as well, which helps him. How much have I changed my mind about the Sabonis-Halliburton trade? How much? I don't know how to like categorize how much. I still think it's a stupid trade from Sacramento. I still think that the Indiana Pacers win that really comfortably. Sabonis has been really strong for them, and the Kings' aim is to get in the playoffs, and they probably do get in the playoffs. But Sabonis has only got like 1 year left. He's 5 years older on his contract. It's a playoff disaster, I think, waiting to happen. Well, I think maybe it's not a disaster. I don't think it's going to go well for them in the playoffs if Sabonis is the center. And there's a real limiting factor in how you build your roster with Sabonis as your key piece. Whereas Halliburton's in year 3. I think he's going to be a star for a long time. And while it might be a short-term win for the Kings because they make the playoffs, I still think it's a terrifically bad move long-term. My favorite Jordans. He says, I like 6s. My favorite at the moment are 3s. Favorite are 3s. Oh, actually, no, it's not true. My favorite are 2s, actually. I know everyone hates 2s. I love 2s. 2s, 3s. I like 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. 6s were the first pair I ever bought, but I haven't really gotten back into them as much. I've got a few pairs. I don't know what that means, Darius. What's a quality game in the playoffs? A quality game in the playoffs is the same as a quality game any other time of the season. It's a day on which there are 9 or fewer games played, meaning that streaming is possible. Any reason I stopped using the Succession soundbite? Yeah, swearing. I had to cut back the rude words that I use, and that was just all rude words. How early do I think Wembanyama will go? Too early. He'll go in round 3, and it'll be too early. What's a super rare roundup sound drop? Let's have a look at my list. One that doesn't get used much. Well, we don't. Let's have a look. Which ones don't we use very much? Some of them we don't use very much because I don't like them that much anymore. This one I never use because there's no Simpson in the league anymore.
Simpson, eh?
What else is there that I don't really use? I don't know. I'm spending too much time on that. I can't think of who else is there. Second round exit at best for Sacramento. Yeah, that's what I tend to think. What are my go-to kicks? It depends where I'm going or what I'm doing. Like I wore my SB Mummy Dunks the other night. I do wear my Yeezy 350s a lot. I wear Jordan 2 highs and lows a lot. They're probably my major ones. What's my limit for a number of cusses per ep? It's supposed to be 0, but I find it hard to do that. Do you find it ironic that you purchase Jordans but only wear sandals? No, because I wear sneakers. I never used to wear any shoes ever, and now because I've been buying sneakers and getting into it more, I wear them when I go out. But in general, you know, I don't wear shoes around the house, and I just wear my go-to like sandal now at the moment are my Salahi Bembry Crocs. What are my opinion on the Jar ones? I like them, Ronald. I'd like to see them in hand, but I like them. The Gabrielle Deck sandbelt. Now that is a rare one. Do I still have that on here?
I could barely recognize my own dick.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I got a pair of the Chicago Jordan 2s. I actually like the Jordan 2 lows. They're some of my favorites. Where did Keldon Johnson's sound drop come from and why? Well, I was talking to Jared Johnson on a podcast, and he was calling him the Mustang. So apparently that was his nickname. I go, the Mustang. Wow. If anyone in Australia has a nickname Mustang, which means horse, horse just means they've got a long dick. Like that's what a nickname of someone called Horse in Australia is. So that's why I called him the Horse.
Whose horse is that?
Because someone called him the Mustang, which is a horse. And then, yeah, there you go. Do I ever wear Air Maxes? I've got a couple of Air Maxes. I've got the Pata Air Max 1s in the blue. I've got these like city ones, like the Air Max BWs in the Leon and the Rotterdams. I don't have many of them, maybe 3 or 4 pairs. Do I have any Nike GT jumps? No, I've got GT cuts, but I don't have any GT jumps. I've got a pair of GT cuts. They're really comfortable. I don't have any cuts, any jumps though. Who's better upside, Mark Williams or Zach Collins? Mark Williams has better upside. His likelihood to get there, lower. Olivier Sarr. Yeah, where is that one?
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
LeBron is playing. Yes, you can see that on the screen. See this screen that we're watching, and we're going to get out of here in a second. But you can see that it's got LeBron with a green in next to his name. All right. So the only thing we're waiting on here is Jamal Murray, questionable. Everyone else is determined. It's been decided. It's all done. All right. We're getting ready to head out of here. What are my thoughts on the Home Depot theme as Victor Oladipo's sound drop? Well, Home Depot doesn't exist here. I've got no idea what the theme is, so it wouldn't actually mean anything to me. So, nah, I don't think so. Who ends up with better value this year, Grant or Hart? Grant, easily. How long can my sound drops be without YouTube hitting me with copyright? Well, I don't know. They've never hit me with a copyright, so I don't really know. Why have Lowry's stats taken a nosedive? They've cut his minutes back from like 35 to 30, and he's just shooting really poorly. And I think the knee injury really bothered him. That impacted his free throw attempt rate. But really, look, it's a big drop in minutes, and then the shots aren't going in. Should we trade Pirtle? It is literally the worst time to trade Jakob Pirtle at the moment. The worst time. Is Brandon Clark an ad? Very obviously yes, and has been for a week. And that will take us out of here. Thanks, everyone, for being a part of the show. Hit thumbs up on the way out of here. It's a great way of helping out. Jay says, do I have a sneaker channel? No, I don't. I probably should get one. I did have a few videos on here. I just find it so hard to do the time after recording all of my shows. I just don't want to then do something else and get in front of a camera and edit stuff. It's just such a hassle. So no, I don't have that. Who knows? At some point there might be something. We don't know. Anyway, thumbs up. Hit the like on the way out. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.